Welcome to Dr. Jester Rants, and I'm gonna rant about this. From post-millennial. Breaking. Justice Thomas says tech giants like Facebook, Twitter, and Google should be utilities. We'll soon have no choice but to address our own legal doctrines applying to highly concentrated, privately owned information infrastructure, such as digital platforms, he wrote. Well, this is actually very interesting and quite good. He's pretty much subscribing to what I actually have been saying for quite a long time. To make these companies or the entire environment as public utilities. Because, for instance, if you own a public landline, Jesus Christ, if you own a landline on a telephone, landline or things like that, or a mobile company, these companies cannot police or even censor you for what you talk to on the phone. And I believe that's absolutely awesome. Let's go on and drink for that, because, hey, I don't think it should be called rants, more like talks. Either way, let's go on. Let's go on. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas wrote that tech giants such as Facebook, Google, and Twitter should be reined in and should become utilities. God, this guy is awesome. As Twitter made clear, the right to cut off speech lies most powerfully in the hands of private digital platforms. Thomas wrote, referring to company suspension of then-President Donald Trump's Twitter account. Quote, and the extent to which that power matters for purpose of the First Amendment, and the extent to which that power could unlawfully be modified, raise interesting and important questions. End quote. Thomas wrote that companies who are not subject to the First Amendment do not have the right to exclude. Let's see what he says. If part of the problem is private, concentrated control over online content and platforms available to the public, then part of the solution may be found in doctrines that limit the right of a private company to exclude. Historically, at least two legal doctrines limited a company's right to exclude. First, the legal system and its predecessor have long subjected certain businesses, known as common carriers, to specific regulations, including a general requirement to serve all corners. Can you bargain for free speech? Let's see. Some scholars have argued that common carrier regulations are justified only when a carrier possesses substantial market power. Candube or 404. Holy shit! There's a 404 error! Others have said that no substantial market power is needed so long as the company holds itself out as open to the public. Now that's actually quite interesting. This is quite interesting. If others have said open to the public. A person who holds himself out to carry goods for everyone as a business is a common carrier. This is interesting. I'm gonna have to save this against the pro-censorship crowd, the anti-censorship crowd. And this court long ago suggested that regulations like those placed on common. This is interesting. This is very, very good, especially because many YouTubers, me, and even every single person who uses social media or anything like that is subjected to censorship. For instance, my Facebook account currently is being throttled, as in some moronic little retard reported my account for spam when it's not, and Facebook, with its all automatic and you cannot even contact them to even talk to those imbeciles, placed my account on throttle bias or shadow ban in a certain way, in a way that I cannot post or anything like that in any groups, even those that I moderate or control. It's a way to censor speech, and that's even saying because I'm completely 100% banned on Twitter. Yes, I cannot post or anything like that on Twitter because, if I recall correctly, it's been a while, I triggered some fifis of some woke comics readers. I wouldn't even call them readers, but the amount of comics they have is tiny minimal. And so I triggered them over the fact that they are an absolute cancer to comics. And they got triggered and reported me, and I got banned. Oh well. Either way, let's go and read the news. Well, if an analogy between is correct, then the announcer may arise from dissatisfied platform users who would appreciate not being blocked. Laws that restrict the platform's right to exclude, he wrote. Ooh. This is awesome. Thomas explained that the scale of Facebook, Google, and Facebook market power and domination of the market share writing. It changes nothing that these platforms are not the sole means for distributing speech. Sorry? Coffee. Or information. A person always could choose to avoid the toll bridge or train and instead swim the Charles River or hike the Oregon Trail. But in assessing whether a company exercises substantial market power, that matters is whether the alternatives are comparable. For many of today's digital platforms, nothing is. Fascinating. That can also be extended to companies like United Airlines, American Delta, who are actually boycotting Georgia because of the voter ID laws. And they require ID to buy tickets and many other things. Fascinating. They even require ID for the person to work for them. But then again, the people who are against voter ID or things like that are actually racists themselves, because they are racist by it's called low expectation racism, where they expect that people like me, minorities, who are incapable of getting an ID because they are too stupid to get an ID. That's their idea, the entire concept behind it. Or they are too poor to get one. Even homeless people can actually get a fucking mobile phone in America, but they cannot get a voter ID. Are you shitting me? Even voter ID, an ID, you can even make it free for a person and they still be against it. These people are retarded, if you allow me to say it. Coffee. Anyway, let's get back. If nothing changes, the platform is... Thus, Thomas says, accounts such as suspended at real Donald Trump need to be controlled by the government to ensure that the power of a platform to unilaterally remove a government account would have to be reduced. Quote, we will soon have no choice but to address how our legal doctrines apply to highly concentrated, privately owned information infrastructures such as digital platforms, end quote. Thomas wrote, saying that the legislation would be necessary to make such a thing possible. Oh god damn, this guy is good! I just feel sorry that he never actually had the chance to actually rule or make any rulings or even get into his hands and make a proper judgy thingy on Trump's legal suit in regards to the certain election thingy, which I'm not allowed to say because, you know, YouTube, and because YouTube, which really kind of doesn't allow certain words come out, and Justice Thomas kind of here is kind of alluding that I should be able to say those things, but YouTube doesn't allow it. Freedom of speech. It's definitely being problematic for the control left and their necessity to control things. Fascinating, right? Fascinating, very, 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 very fascinating. Really. Anyway, if you like this sort of content, and for fuck's sake, I had to censor myself in this goddamn fucking video. Fuck you, YouTube. Yeah, with a very large pineapple. Figuratively speaking. Before they actually censor me and they actually think I'm being serious. Anyway. Oh yeah. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Or dislike, because fuck you, YouTube. On youtube.com/Dr. Jester if you like exclusive and content where I don't censor myself, head to beachit.com/Dr. Jester or minds.com/Dr. Jester. Albeit lately I haven't been able to upload exclusive content. I don't know why. Maybe I'm getting lazy. Well, things like that happen. What can we do? Right. Maybe there's... Nah, it's too hot. Too hot. And I'm wearing a different shirt today. Because... Batman! I'm Batman! Either way. Let's move on. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and... Oh, goddamn, I would like to buy a beer for Justice Thomas. Damn, this guy's good. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Have a very good night. If we don't get censored, that is. So, good night.